Hello and welcome to The Comic Cave. I'm Ramsey, aka Captain Away, and today I'm looking at the various collections of the World of Flashpoint. Now, there are 5 of these mother truckers, and in order to cover them as in-depth as I would like, and not have this video last over half an hour, I'm going to break these up into 5 smaller videos, which I'm going to try to release daily, so just be sure to keep checking back each day for the next part. For today, I'll be looking at World of Flashpoint featuring Wonder Woman. With most any big comic book event, you are going to have a number of comics tie into the series in one way or another. Sometimes this is with comics that are running just having one or a few issues tie into the event, and sometimes this is with completely new comics created just for the event. Flashpoint had mostly the latter, with only a few issues of Booster Gold serving as a tie-in from a then-running comic. The goal of these issues was pretty simple, just build on the stories of the World Flash visits in the main comic that are only hinted at in that series. So, if your desire is to know everything about the version of Earth that existed for only 5 months real time as these comics came out, and I mean everything, from big things like why Aquaman and Wonder Woman are fighting a war over Europe in the first place, to incredibly insignificant details like how Flashpoint Aquaman got that scar on his face. Well then, saddle up, cause we're taking this away. This volume opens with basically an origin story about Diana, who in the normal universe becomes Wonder Woman. Just like her main universe counterpart, this Diana maintained her curiosity about the world outside of her fellow Amazonians on Themyscira, but when she takes a boat out to explore that world, instead of running into a Steve Trevor, she runs into a Kraken! Followed closely by Arthur Curry, the Aquaman. The Kraken poisons Diana, so Aquaman takes her to Atlantis to cure her. And while there, they realize that they both feel the need to help the world outside their closed-off societies, and that together they stand a better chance of doing that. So they decide to form an alliance the old-fashioned way, through marriage. Not everyone is happy for the young, not really lovebirds, and Amazon's Artemis and Diana's own aunt Penthesilea, which sounds more like some kind of antibacterial, launch a plan to kill Diana and frame the Atlanteans for it. But on the day of the marriage, Artemis, pretending to be original Aqualad Garth, accidentally kills Diana's mother instead. They still manage to frame Garth, especially when he can't speak for himself because Diana kills him too quickly in anger. The Atlanteans are sent away, but come back to try some peace talks, but suddenly both sides come under attack, and Wonder Woman gives Aquaman his face scar. So, there you go, I guess. Diana then decides to seek Themyscira in the hopes of killing the Atlanteans there, but this isn't particularly successful. Oh well. Without a homeland, the Amazonians seek refuge in the United Kingdom, but when their request for asylum is refused, they decide to bring anarchy to the UK and take over the island, in literally a single panel. Hey, no time to waste, we got too many random little trivia to explain. This goes fine until Aquaman's replacement wife, Mera, a woefully underused character in this story, decides to attempt her own assassination attempt on Diana, only to be defeated in a single strike, with the not-so-wonderful woman taking her helm as a grim reminder for those who oppose her, or really as a trophy. Just admit it, Diana, it looks badass. Aquaman, with the help of a captured Geoforce, unleashes an attack on all of Europe that would sink it, but Geoforce's sister, Terra, instead raises the UK out of the ocean, which is why its shores look like this in the main comic. Reasons for everything, I'm telling ya. Things only keep getting worse until the day of another Atlantean attack, and we learn that Aquaman's brother-in-law, Orm, in the normal universe known as the supervillain Ocean Master, has been secretly plotting both Arthur and Diana's downfall with the help of Aunt Penicillin. Pentium? Yeah, that. This leads us back to the day of the big final battle, and that leads us to our next story, called Emperor Aquaman, which tells many of the same events from the other side. It's most notable for giving a background on Aquaman, whose mother had fled from Atlantis and fallen in love with the human Tom Curry. However, she was forced back to Atlantis where she died in childbirth. Aqua Baby was then cast out to die, but the animals of the ocean rescued him and brought him to his dad. After the king's death, the soldiers brought the rightful heir back to replace Orm on the throne, and Aquaman would have to grow up a cold and strong dictator to hold off those who wanted his throne. Geoforce, who I mentioned earlier, is in this universe King of Markovia, and he decides to try and ally with most of Europe and Aquaman against the Amazons. But Aquaman betrays that trust and kidnaps him to use as a weapon instead. Mera has some doubts about using King Markov this way, and Orm tricks her into believing an assassination attempt would prevent this, leading to her failure at Wonder Woman's hands. Overall, I do like this story a bit better than the first one, though it does feature a lot of people standing around explaining things to each other that they should already know. The next story covers Lois Lane's role in the plot and her efforts to report on the Amazons, as we saw her doing very briefly in the main comic. She was originally supposed to be reporting on fashion in Paris, but when Aquaman flooded it, she was rescued by Amazons and brought to New Themyscira. There, she infiltrated their training programs for women until she uncovered some nasty truths about the Amazons, like their concentration camps and mutation experiments, all of which proved to be news to Wonder Woman at the end of the comic. Feeling the need to make the world aware of this information, Lois decides it's time to escape. She's helped in her escape by old Wildstorm character Grifter and his resistance, which consists of existing characters Godiva and the demon Etrigan, along with new characters Miss Hyde and the Canterbury Cricket. And this walking list of British phrases named Penny Black, who pilots this weird Iron Man suit that makes her into Britannia. Yep. This is the comic where we get the best look at Wonder Woman's elite guard called the Furies, which consists of many familiar faces from DC's women's heroes and villains, including Cheetah, Vixen, Hawkgirl, Huntress, Artemis, Katana, and Giganta. I wish there had been a comic about these badass ladies getting together, but nope. The last story in this volume is about the Outsider, who is born with that weird rocky body, and his birth causes a massive sinkhole that kills the entire city he was born in. He grows up in a new city, manipulating two gangs into destroying each other, and then uses that to push himself up further until he's become some sort of Flashpoint equivalent to Lex Luthor. He's obsessed with only money and power, constantly scheming up new ways to make new money, regardless of what happens to anyone else or the rest of the world. This includes spending billions of dollars to find a way to defeat Black Adam and ISIS, so he can gain oil rights in Kahndaq. This solution was some kind of voice synthesizer thing that allowed him to imitate their voices, which was apparently enough to fool their magical Shazam powers and revert them back to normal humans. He then proceeds to kill the both of them for being in his way. His story also brings in Flashpoint Martian Manhunter, who's showing off his sweet Indiana Jones cosplay. Nice. The Outsider experimented on Martian Manhunter before eventually selling him to the Russians to be used for their own Project Superman. Manhunter hates the Outsider enough to send assassins to kill him, setting off the events of this story. But apparently Manhunter still answered to someone else. We never seem to learn who, and if the answer comes up in the main story like the final page seems to indicate, then I totally missed it. That will do it for this volume. Make sure to stick around for the other 4, which again I will try to update every day, but if I miss a day, please just give me a break and check back the next day. So if all goes to plan, tomorrow I'll be releasing World of Flashpoint featuring Green Lantern. So if you're a big GL fan, make sure to stick around for that, and I hope to see you then, right here in the Comic Cave.